When we talk about the death penalty in America, we call it justice, the ultimate punishment for the worst crimes. It's a word that carries weight, evoking ideas of fairness, closure, and accountability. But what does justice really mean in practice, and who gets to decide? But is our system truly about justice, or is it shaped by anger, fear, and politics? Too often, the loudest voices and the most sensational headlines influence outcomes more than facts or fairness. Justice should be blind to wealth, race, or background, but the reality is different. The scales are tipped by factors that have nothing to do with the crime itself. The quality of your lawyer or the race of the victim can decide your fate. Where you live, and even the mood of a jury, can mean the difference between life and death. This isn't blind justice, it's a system shaped by bias and inequality. For many, the promise of equal treatment under the law remains out of reach. The death penalty is carried out in our name, reflecting our community's values. Every execution is a statement about what we believe as a society. We must look past headlines and confront uncomfortable truths about who we are. Are we seeking true justice or simply satisfying a desire for retribution? The real meaning of justice is found in the stories of those caught in this system. Their voices reveal the human cost behind the statistics and legal arguments. The question isn't whether the guilty deserve punishment, but whether our system can be trusted with the power of life and death. Can we ever be certain that justice is truly served? Can we be sure every person sentenced to die is truly guilty and received a fair chance? Or are we risking irreversible mistakes in the name of justice? As we explore this issue, we must face the possibility that what we call justice may actually create more pain. The answers aren't easy, but asking the right questions is where true justice begins. As of 2025, the death penalty remains legal in many U.S. states, with laws and practices that can differ dramatically from one state to another. Meanwhile, a growing number of states have chosen to abolish it, reflecting shifting political and social attitudes. This creates a patchwork system. Your fate can depend not just on the crime, but on where it's committed and which court hears your case. Such inconsistency raises serious questions about equal justice and whether the law is truly applied fairly across the nation. Stories of inadequate defense and racial bias are not rare. They're patterns that have shaped the outcomes of countless cases. Even the methods of execution, from lethal injection to firing squads, are under scrutiny for cruelty and ethical concerns. Public opinion is shifting, with more people questioning the death penalty's fairness, effectiveness, and its place in a modern justice system. The high costs of capital cases, lengthy appeals, and the ever-present risk of executing the innocent weigh heavily on lawmakers and the public alike. The debate is evolving, from questions of guilt and punishment to deeper concerns about the system's flaws, its financial burden, and its morality. The landscape is changing, with new laws and court decisions, but the core questions remain as urgent as ever. Is this system truly just, or is it time for a new approach to punishment and justice in America? The risk of executing the innocent is real. No matter how careful we try to be, mistakes happen and the consequences are irreversible. Since the 1970s, over 190 people have been exonerated from death row, their lives nearly lost to a flawed system. Each exoneration is a story of years stolen, families torn apart, and justice nearly denied. For every person freed, we're left to wonder how many more innocent people remain behind bars, their mistakes undiscovered, their voices unheard. Appeals are long and complex, not to delay justice, but to prevent irreversible errors. The process is painstaking, designed to catch what the system may have missed. Yet this process brings suffering to both victims' families and the accused, who live for years under the shadow of death, never knowing what the future holds. Justice is not equal. Wealth and race often determine outcomes, shaping who receives mercy and who faces the harshest penalties. Poor defendants rely on overworked public defenders, who juggle impossible caseloads and lack resources to investigate or defend every case thoroughly. Meanwhile, the wealthy can mount strong defenses, hiring teams of skilled attorneys and experts to fight for their freedom. Racial bias is clear. Defendants are far more likely to be sentenced to death if the victim is white, revealing deep-rooted prejudice in the system. These disparities undermine the integrity of the entire system, eroding public trust and casting doubt on every verdict. When justice depends on money or skin color, it's not justice at all. It's a system that perpetuates inequality and pain. If we truly value fairness, we must confront these flaws head-on and demand a system that serves everyone equally. The death penalty is often driven by politics, not pure justice. Elected prosecutors and judges campaign on being tough on crime, using the death penalty to win votes. Public fear and media coverage can pressure officials to seek executions regardless of what's truly just. This leads to inconsistent application. Your fate can depend on the politics of your county. Justice becomes arbitrary, more like a lottery than a principled system. When life and death decisions are influenced by elections, public trust erodes. The law's moral authority is undermined when it's used as a political tool. True justice must rise above politics and public opinion. It should be about truth, not winning elections or calming fears. Only then can the system claim legitimacy. The death penalty inflicts deep pain on everyone involved. For victims' families, the promise of closure often proves empty. Endless appeals force them to relive trauma. For the accused's families, it's a nightmare of shame, financial ruin, and prolonged grief. Their suffering is rarely acknowledged, but it's real. The process also takes a toll on defense attorneys, prosecutors, judges, and prison staff. Many experience lasting trauma. The focus on punishment can overshadow truth and fairness. The system becomes a battle where humanity is lost in legal maneuvering. The needs of victims, the rights of the accused, and the pursuit of justice are often sidelined. Instead of healing, the process leaves everyone more broken. The cycle of trauma and retribution offers no real resolution. Recognizing the flaws in the death penalty, more states are choosing life without parole. This ensures public safety without the irreversible step of execution. Life sentences eliminate the risk of killing the innocent. If new evidence emerges, freedom is still possible. The legal process is less costly, freeing resources for victims' services and law enforcement. This shift reflects a deeper moral change, a move away from state-sanctioned killing. Justice can be served without replicating violence. By choosing life imprisonment, we affirm the value of all human life, even those who have done wrong. This is justice that punishes and protects, without sacrificing our principles. The real question is, what kind of justice do we want as a nation? Are we ready to choose a path that heals rather than harms?